This week's project is this party tray designed to hold snacks and designed to keep fans of both teams happy. And this is a limited tools project I designed for the absolute beginner. Anyone can make this project with a few basic tools. Here's all you're gonna need: a drill, a jigsaw, some sandpaper, or if you have a powered sander, that'd be a lot easier. You're gonna need some wood glue and some spray adhesive. The only lumber you're gonna need are some scraps. I have a 3/4 inch piece of poplar, and this is a 1/4 inch thick piece of plywood. You'll need them to be at least 7.5 inches wide by 30 inches long. Print out both pieces of the cutting template and tape them together. You can line these up using a window. Use these crosshairs to make it exact. Using spray adhesive, I'll attach 2 of these templates to the 3/4 inch board. I'm using a large drill bit to make an entry point for my saw. And I'll cut along the inside line. Now is a good time to sand out the inside of these cuts. If you have one of these little power sanders, it makes the job a lot easier. Now I'm going to spread wood glue on the back side. And what's most important is that you get it spread all the way to this edge. And I'll flip this over and put it right on that 1/4 inch piece of plywood. I usually use large bricks to clamp these together. Paint cans also work really well. And I'll just let that dry for an hour or so. Boom! Here we are, 2 hours later. And now that those are sandwiched together, I can cut out both football shapes. No matter how hard you try to cut accurately along the line, these two pieces are not going to match up perfectly. What I'm gonna do is stick these together with double-sided carpet tape. Now I can line these two pieces up and stick them together. And with those temporarily attached to each other, I can sand them even with each other. Well, it certainly takes some time to sand it all down and get it nice and even and smooth all the way around, but just take your time and you'll get there. Now that everything is lined up nice and neatly, I'm gonna put the hinge on so at least it'll be in the right location. I'll end up taking it off to paint it. Line this up as straight as possible along the seam and make a mark where the screws go. Now to get this separated, you can use a putty knife or maybe a screwdriver, something to slide in there and pry it apart. That carpet tape is pretty strong. Now that everything seems to fit nicely together, I'm gonna sand over all of the edges so that they're not so sharp. And it doesn't take a lot of sanding just to make it feel a lot nicer when you hold it. Now I can remove the hinge so that I can paint it. A coat of white primer will make it easier to apply the other colors. You'll get a really smooth finish if you lightly sand the primer when it's dry. I'm gonna lay down a solid color base coat first. Now the rest of the details I'm gonna paint on by hand using acrylic paints. A few coats of spray lacquer will make these easy to wipe clean with a damp rag. Now I can put the hinge back on. And if you wanted to, you could put a latch on this, but I don't really think it's necessary. Well, if you enjoy football, I hope you enjoy next week's game, and if you're having a football party, maybe you can make this and it'll help bring the two sides together. If you fill this with chips, it might be an interesting experiment to see which one empties first. If you want even more woodworking for mere mortals, be sure and subscribe to Mere Minutes, my second channel. If you're not subscribed, here's what you missed last week. I've done serving trays, but maybe it was in the shape of a football. And if that's not enough, I've been posting exclusive video sneak previews of my projects on Thursdays over at my website at woodworkingformeremortals.com.
Party trays, I guess they are.
Plus, there's lots of other reasons to visit my website throughout the week, including photos and projects from viewers and lots of free plans. Don't forget to download your free cutting template if you'd like to make one of these. If you're new to Woodworking for Mere Mortals, please hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you on board. I have new woodworking videos every Friday. And I want to give a special shout out and thank you to all of you subbable subscribers who continue to support the show every month. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next Friday. Go Niners! Wait. It'd be nice to be able to store some items that we can get to more frequently without having to drag out the entire box. So this one has a drawer in the front.
I so wanted that to be 49er colors.